world of professional wrestling, some of the most shocking stories come from the larger-than-life personalities inside the ring, but few tales are as jaw-dropping as this one, where wrestling collided with one of the most notorious dictators in history, Saddam Hussein. Imagine the sheer terror when a legendary figure like Andre the Giant received a direct death threat from Saddam himself during a wrestling match in Iraq. This is the story of fear, friendship, and survival when the stakes were higher than anyone could have imagined. During the 1970s, professional wrestling was rapidly expanding its reach across the globe, finding fans in some of the most unexpected places. One such place was Iraq, where Saddam Hussein's growing regime took a peculiar interest in the sport. Saddam's connection to wrestling ran through his longtime friend Adnan Al-Kaissie. But what many don't realize is how deep those ties went and how they nearly cost Andre the Giant his life. Today we're diving into the unbelievable true story of how one of the world's most ruthless dictators became intertwined with professional wrestling. How does a professional wrestler become close friends with one of history's most brutal dictators? Adnan Al-Kaissie's journey to wrestling stardom began in Iraq. Before he stepped into the ring, he was a standout athlete, admired for his strength and charisma. His friendship with Saddam started in their youth long before Saddam's rise to power. But as Saddam's influence grew, so did the complications of their friendship. After spending almost a decade in the United States, Adnan Al-Kaissie returned to Iraq to visit his family, only to be summoned by Saddam. Saddam, now impressed with Adnan Al-Kaissie's accomplishments abroad, wanted him to stay in Iraq and serve as a national celebrity of sports, a poster child for the country's image. Al-Kaissie had no choice but to accept. After all, refusing Saddam wasn't an option if he valued his life. As Saddam's grip tightened in Iraq, wrestling became a tool of propaganda. Saddam used it to enhance Iraq's global image. Al-Kaissie rose to the status of a national hero. But being part of Saddam's inner circle was a dangerous balancing act, where even the smallest misstep could lead to fatal consequences. And soon the stage was set for a confrontation that would forever link Al-Kaissie, Saddam, and Andre the Giant. While Adnan Al-Kaissie's relationship with Saddam gave him fame and prestige, it also brought him dangerously close to the violent unpredictability of one of the world's most feared leaders. What happens when you wrestle in front of a dictator who's known for his ruthless nature? Before Andre the Giant found himself in the heart of Iraq, facing a potential life or death situation under the shadow of Saddam Hussein, Andre's unique stature was evident early on. By the age of 12, he was already over 6 feet tall, and by adulthood, he had reached a staggering 7 foot 4 inches due to a condition known as acromegaly, which caused his extraordinary growth. Growing up in France, Andre was known for his kindness and gentle demeanor. Despite his massive size, it wasn't long before his physical stature caught the attention of the world of professional wrestling. His early career saw him performing across Europe, gaining experience in local circuits before moving to North America in the early 70s. It was here that his life would change forever. In 1973, Andre made his debut in the United States wrestling for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, the WWF, the predecessor of the modern-day WWE. Promoted by Vince McMahon Sr., Andre was instantly billed as the 8th wonder of the world. His size, strength, and his surprising agility for a man of his stature made him a must-see attraction wherever he went. His towering presence had been seen by fans all over the world. Andre had wrestled in countries like Japan, Australia, and the UK, with his matches drawing massive crowds who marveled at his extraordinary size and power. The wrestling event that brought Andre the Giant to Iraq was supposed to be a routine show, a spectacle for entertainment and the showcase of Iraq's growing presence. But no one could have predicted that Saddam's ruthless paranoia would turn the event into a life or death situation. The main event for this special attraction show in Iraq was going to be Adnan Al-Kaissie versus Andre the Giant. Before the match, Saddam summoned Al-Kaissie. What he told him left him shaken to the core. Saddam confidently stated that the Giant is no match for you. Then, as if to emphasize the stakes, Saddam Hussein opened his jacket to reveal a gun, and with a chilling smile said, "If the Giant wins, I will empty this gun into him." Terrified, Al-Kaissie rushed to Andre before the match to change the ending. Originally, Andre was supposed to win the second fall in a 2 out of 3 falls match, but fearing that Saddam might misunderstand and think the second fall was the end of the match, Al-Kaissie switched the finish so that he won both falls. When the match ended and Al-Kaissie was declared the victor, the soldiers in the arena began firing their guns into the air in celebration. But Andre thought they were shooting at him. In a panic, he scrambled out of the ring and hid underneath it, convinced that his life was in danger. How do you escape the grasp of a dictator after witnessing his chilling power firsthand? After this terrifying ordeal, Adnan Al-Kaissie realized that being close to Saddam was a double-edged sword. His friendship with Saddam had made him famous, but also placed him in constant danger. That wrestling event made it clear just how unpredictable and dangerous Saddam's mood could be. Al-Kaissie knew he had to escape. With Saddam's reputation for hunting down those who betrayed him, fleeing Iraq would be risky, but it was his only option. He left $2 million in his bank account, leaving behind the fortune that Saddam had afforded him. Al-Kaissie sought refuge in the United States, where he continued his wrestling career for decades. I found this article that had a quote from Sheikh Adnan Al-Kaissie, and I thought it would fit here. This is from the 2005 memoir, The Sheikh of Baghdad, Tales of Celebrity and Terror from Pro Wrestling's General Adnan. Al-Kaissie didn't publish this book until Saddam Hussein was in U.S. custody because he feared for his family's safety. He says, "It was hard to leave it all behind. It really was. I had so many extravagant gifts that I had received from people, like gold watches, swords, and pistols. I just washed my hands of it all. Luckily, I had socked away some cash that I had converted to US dollars on the black market during my first few years in Iraq. I had kept it hidden in my closet for a rainy day, and as far as I could tell, it was pouring outside." Also, a part of this story is not being able to take any money out of the country. Al-Kaissie also wisely purchased a fleet of Mercedes-Benz cars in Iraq, which he had shipped overseas and later sold in the United States. But the shadow of his past never fully left him. He often recounted the fear he felt that night in Iraq and how close he came to seeing real violence unfold in the ring. For Andre the Giant, that match was a close call with death. And for Al-Kaissie, it was the moment he knew he had to cut ties with Saddam for good. Escaping from Saddam's grip was more than just leaving Iraq. It was about survival after standing too close to the dangerous dictator. What legacy did this strange and dangerous connection between Saddam Hussein and professional wrestling leave behind? The bizarre connection between Saddam Hussein and the world of professional wrestling is one of the strangest intersections between politics and entertainment. For Adnan Al-Kaissie, his friendship with Saddam brought him fame with fear, while for Andre the Giant, the match in Iraq became an unexpected brush with death. But the legacy of this story stretches beyond just the individuals involved. It serves as a stark reminder of how mixing politics with entertainment, especially under a dictatorship, can lead to unpredictable and dangerous consequences. For wrestling fans, it's a surreal but true story that highlights just how wild and unpredictable the world of professional wrestling can be. But for those who lived through it, like Adnan Al-Kaissie, it's a story that will never be forgotten, a tale of survival in the face of immense power. If you enjoyed this story, check out the time that Abdul the Butcher almost killed an Indian wrestler in the ring. You can check it out right here.